And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the house of Scotty P, where we discuss the things near and dear to your hearts, where we discuss things that you want to discuss. And when you don't discuss them, I make some up and then we talk about those things. So, again, welcome back to Late Night at Scotty. Let's hear the loud noise of applause. Yeah, or not. That's okay. We're going to just kind of hang out here on a Thursday night. I don't know what's going on or where it's going on or why it isn't going to go on or is. We just don't know. But normally I'll reach over to touch my guitar and next thing you know, someone shows up. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay. All right. We try it. We don't know. We just have fun. We noodle around. We try to figure something out. And I don't know what's going to happen here, but and we'll just see what's going on. It's just an easy peasy, lemon squeezy kind of night. Oh, we got to the second note tonight before someone dropped in. Oh boy, I tell you what. That's the way you drive away. I have no idea. I'm just having fun. Just having fun, waiting for some people to drop in. Don't know what's going to go on tonight. It's been one heck of a day. I don't know how y'all been doing, but it's been a heck of a day. I think what I'll do is I'm going to jump on over here and take a look at the weather for a minute because that's what I like to do. We'll throw some. Hello, Lisa. How are you? How are you? And maybe we won't look at the weather. No, we can look at the weather. I don't know. And now you're laughing and crying and everything. See, I think what happens is this StreamYard doesn't like to give me real time data. It likes to mess with me. And I see someone jump in, I see the numbers go up, and then I see the numbers go down, and I have no idea what is happening. I look over here real quick to see what do we have going on tonight? What's going on live? Who else is out there in our world? So we have Breaking Thin with 12 people watching. So I'm going head to head with Breaking Thin. It looks like Alia and My Metamorphosis is on there. So I don't want to take anybody from their live. But I do like to do this every night, do that late night. So here I am, back in the saddle again. Maybe not. So what have you been up to there, Ms. Lisa? How you been doing? So everybody's having a good time. You're just doing some cleaning. They're just wrapping up. I'm showing you why I don't play the guitar online. It's all one big happy family. It is Thursday. It is a great day to be alive. And I have had another fulfilling day. I should say filling day, but a fulfilling day nonetheless. So what are we cleaning? We just cleaning we just clean up the house, you cleaning up the car, you're cleaning up after soccer practices. What is it that we're cleaning up after on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday? Today was another day. Last night when I was in, for that brief period of time I was in. I was trying to be discreet to say I had a young man in the house who's had a challenge. I've talked about him before. And today his grandfather got to come home. And so I met him at the hospital and we spent some couple hours there because he was still getting some IV medicine. We had to finish that up. And then had to put him in another guy's truck and get him taken home and cleaning the house. All right. And we got him taken home. That was a jaunt. And then we got him out of the truck, got him into a wheelchair, then had to take him up a ramp. Thankful for the ramp. Very thankful. The wheelchair had to weigh at least 80 pounds. He's no slim chicken. So I had to get him up about 2.5, 3-inch lip and got him up, had to lean him back and then pull him up. He was like this. He was sitting in his wheelchair like this. And he's like, woo! And then we wheeled him up and got him in the house and couldn't get him in the side door. Had to get to the front door. And that meant moving chairs and doing things. And so we finally got him in the house. And he was there for boobity, 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 boop in that wheelchair in the house for better part of, it'd be 12 hours. Well, no, it wouldn't be 12 hours now. I would say 10 hours. So he was up in a wheelchair. He hadn't spent more than 45 minutes to an hour in a wheelchair yet. So today was a baptism by fire. But we got him in the house, got him situated. And then I sat there with him because nobody was there. And you just don't want to leave a man alone. So when his grandson, got back there, I felt confident to leave him in his house, leave him with him because he knew how to get a hold of me. And so then I called about an hour and a half ago, and I said, "Hey, little buddy, how's your grandpa doing?" And he was like, "We're good." And I asked a couple pointed questions to him, and he was like, not sure what was going on. I'm looking for the text right now. It's kind of funny. So, let's see. I said to him, "Hey, you might have to start taking charge, getting Pops to the rocking chair," because he thought about sleeping in the rocking chair. And he has to be pretty tired by now, sitting in that wheelchair all day. Also, has he had a chance to go to the bathroom yet? I know it's a tough question to ask. Then I said, "If you need help," I did it myself. I said, "If you need help to move him to the rocking chair or the recliner, just say so. There's nothing wrong with needing some help, okay?" He said, this is his bed. He said he might not get back up out of it, to which I replied, "I know, that's a problem." To which the 18-year-old says, "Yeah, so what do we do?" To which I replied, "Hang on a minute and let me think, okay?" He replies right back, "Okay." And then I say, "Okay, where would he like to sleep? In the bed or the recliner?" Good question, because his wheelchair doesn't fit through his bedroom door. It fits everywhere else in the house, but not in his bedroom door. But he has a walker we put on the other side of the bedroom door. So he says, "The bed." I said, "Okay." I said, "Would you like me to come and help? I can be there in 30 minutes or whenever you need me." And his answer back to me, "Okay." So I went ahead and went over there, and it worked out really well. We got him in. And so for a non-scale victory between you and me, non-scale victory is I was able to do this today. Help man carry his stuff. I was pushing him down the aisle. I was carrying a great big bag of his clothing articles and pushing him down the aisle with one hand on the part. And I was able to steer him and the wheelchair all the way around through the maze of the nursing home, nursing care facility, and get him to where he needed to go while carrying a great big bag full of stuff. And that was pretty cool. And then I got him into the truck, and then I was able to do other things and do some cleaning and do some vacuuming and do some lifting and tugging and sitting and talking and loving. And I came home and I did painting and stuff out on the old gazebo, right? And then after I did all that, I came in, did my daily, my 1 hour, not 1 hour, but my daily reading from the chronological, and I was able to get that done. Then the missus, she came home from what she was doing, and we went out to a town meeting because the people here want to form a political subdivision. They want to make a township or something. I don't know. So we went to that for a couple hours. And that's when that little exchange happened. So got a little dinner, ran to the house, went to his house, picked him up, sat him down, did the things. And I'm back home and I'm doing the show. And it's 9:30 at night and I'm going strong. So those are a lot of NSVs right there. What about you? How's it going with you there, Miss Lisa? You out there cleaning up a storm? I suspect you keep a pretty clean house, so I don't know why you have to do too much. And last thing got wiggity around there. Talk to me, Maverick. Talk to me. And I'll be honest with you, we've been in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the longest I've gone with one person on here, so I must be doing something to kill a channel. Or they're busy. We'll go with they're busy. What do you think? I'm going to refresh to see what's going on over here with our other carnivores. Yep, there I am. Oh, I see the kill. That's not live. Let's look for the livers. Lots of football on, and they're still on over there. So there's like 20, 30 people watching on the other show, maybe 40 or 50, and that's okay. That's all right. I'm just going to hang out here with you for a while. Yeah, that's a lot, but that's what you sign up when you say, hey, today, as I was closing in prayer, closing my daily reading, and I was like, God, use me. Here I am, send me. Somebody has to say it and then do it. So I did. Feel good about it, too. It is good. It's a good thing. But I am having a little decaf coffee tonight. I'm going to tell you what. Gotta get that all, what do you call it? Stirred up and ready to go. They'll be hopping on. All right. I'll be patient. I trust you. I mean, so many people have so much that they can do. And that's an important thing to remember is that particularly as more and more people get into this lifestyle and start wanting to be, engaged, you're going to find other people to go to and things to do. So I'm good with that. I'm good. What I am going to do, though, I am going to peruse a little bit of the internet just to see what else could be happening in the world. Oh, boy. Yeah. There's a lot going on in the world. Don't know if I wanted to look at all this. Things are getting crazy out there. But I guess that's what we expect, don't we? We expect that there'd be a lot going on and the world would be doing things. But hey, look, we want to talk about other things too. We want to talk about some of the latest and greatest things going on out there in the, in the space, because there's a lot of things going on, I think, out there in the carnivore space with people and things to be able to see and do. And I just wondered, I've been watching a lot of videos, and it looks like some people are actually starting to make smaller and shorter videos. And I tried to make one today, and mine got all hung up. Have you had that problem? Because I made a short today, and I thought it was a pretty good short, but it just got hung up and wouldn't publish. Kind of made me angry. But what are you going to do? It's technology, right? I have no idea. Oh, yep, there we go. Politics. I knew I shouldn't have looked at the internet. That internet. Stick to the weather. Yeah. No politics and weather. But okay, boobity boobity boop. That's it. I'm gonna make sure everything else is good. Oh, and then the guy helping me on the pavilion, he's been needing some stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Oh boy, we got a lot of things going on. So here they come, everybody. Welcome, welcome into the house of Scotty P. As we tap dance a little bit here. A lot of stuff going on in other places. If you could, and if you would, if you don't mind, if you'll go ahead and smash that like button, let people know we're out here so that they can see what's going on, and then they'll jump into the stream, and we'll carry on about things that have been going on today for people. We got the weekend coming up. Today is Friday Eve, right? With Friday Eve, a lot to go on. You've been trying to do a poll all day, and yeah, I think sums up. They must have pushed some type of change, some type of control, some type of software, and it's glitching on them pretty bad. And that's going to be hard for them, because that's not good for them either, right? I mean, if they glitch like that, then it harms their brand. Anyway, I went ahead and I threw the link up in the stream. We'll see if someone takes the bait today. I'm not sure who's going to take the bait, but we'll see. Meanwhile, we'll just tap dance here for a little bit until someone else throws something else up into the chat. Matter of fact, Lisa, put it right there. I'm trying to do a poll, and it won't let me add options. Yeah, I think they pushed something today, and they may have broke something, and they only broke a little bit of it. Oh no! Look at that. I got lines in my face, cheekbones, and I saw something like I thought I had a problem today, and I saw some lines here, and I feel like it's my collarbone is popping through. Only a little area of my collarbone is not visible now. I think that's pretty cool. Not because I'm getting emaciated, but because it's just working. Hey there, how's it going, bud? You good? Good to see you. You betcha. It's been a dynamic day here. How about for you? You've been doing well? How was that? How was it? You were having some brisket, weren't you? You were talking about the brisket being ready. How was that? All right, all right. Yep. Yeah, you missed all the sage commentary I had to offer. That already happened, and now it's gone. So you have to go back and look at the sage stuff. No, there's no sage. Maybe some rosemary and thyme, but no sage. I'm only kidding. Sagebrush is pretty good. And again, I thought about getting some type of counter or some way of getting some interactions and telling really bad dad jokes. See, like telling bad dad jokes until the stream was populated. I thought that probably wasn't. Oh, there he is, man, the myth, the legend. Let's go ahead. We'll add him in.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, there he is with the no fro.
The no fro.
Hey, good on you. Good on you. No fro. I like it.
Yeah, I feel a lot better, a lot lighter.
There you go. I tell you what, it does change your total expression.
Yeah, this is what I try to look like normally, but the hair starts growing, you get busy with other things, and haircuts are so expensive now. It's just like, forget about it.
No, I don't really know. Thank you.
Oh well. I've often thought too,
I can let
how I look actually clean, but I don't know. I ain't brave enough to go that far yet.
Well, I can let my hair grow out for 2 months, and it would barely be that long. It looked like someone stapled hamsters to my head, and not equally.
Yeah, I had some recent things going on here in this last week, and you had what is it, your most recent non-scale victory?
Yeah.
And just something I kind of gradually noticed, because like all throughout my life, being on a standard American diet, being asthmatic, going through that whole spiel, and then being carnivore, for or I should actually say more accurately, living the ketogenic lifestyle these last year, I would say. I've noticed like certain changes, like I barely ever get a sniffle anymore. And if I do, it's like completely less than it ever was. And just this last, let me see, it was on the 16th. My son had his 16th birthday. And so for his birthday, we got him a cat, and then we got my wife a cat, and we've got 2 little kittens running around the house and everything. And as a child growing up, I used to be extremely allergic to cats. I mean, extremely allergic to cats. And now, I don't know. They've been on my pillows. I've been holding them. They've been up on my shirts and everything. I've been petting them, and nothing, absolutely nothing. So it's like, hey, there had to be something that, helped the allergies and everything, or made it seem like it was me being allergic to cats. And it was probably just a poor diet the completely time. Because I mean, think about it, even from a child, we're fed sugar and carbs and processed foods, and it's right there.
Well, first things I want to be sure is, I know that you said last time you were on, there was a pretty significant time lag.
I didn't notice.
Okay, well, I thought you'd mentioned that there's a time lag, so I don't want to step on your comment. So if there is, let me know.
So far, it seems good.
Okay. Second of all, I am a proponent of the construct of your body can do a lot of wonderful, complex, beautiful things, but you pay a price, kind of like a computer. If you have 57 windows open and you run a lot of big programs, and that with your photography stuff, right?
Yep.
If you're trying to render a video while you're doing a whole bunch of other things, like even I've got a pretty significantly good computer, but sometimes bandwidth is an issue. If I run too many things at any time, it slows it all down, right? I think when you're on the standard American diet, you very well can be making so many demands of your body that your body just goes through a prioritization schema and says, this takes about, like, the hypothalamus regulates your body temperature, and then everything else goes on. And you could be pre-diabetic with a more diabetic condition on your extremities, why people lose their toes and their feet with diabetic neuropathy and everything. Yet the rest of the body doesn't seem to really have a lot of that kind of impact, because I think your body just says, as we get closer to the core organs and to the brain, right, it protects, and it'll let your fingers and toes go.
Yep.
When you were younger with that standard American diet and everything going on, it was just too much for your system. But now, since your body's fighting fewer battles, it's not having to over respond to the cat dander.
Yep, I've thought about that before. It makes perfect sense. That exact thing.
Huh. You know what, Julia? I've been noticing that somebody who tried to do YouTube today, I tried to do a YouTube short, and it made me let all the way to the end, and then it wouldn't let me put comments, like a header on it, and then send it. And Lisa was talking about, she's been trying here. Lisa said all day, yep, YouTube is having an issue today, because Lisa said that she'd been trying to do a poll all day and wouldn't let her add options. I think somebody pushed a patch or an update, and YouTube is having a fit. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, Julia. Thank you for coming in. You've been waiting to post for 10 minutes. Well, I tell you what, people, I even had my guitar out, because normally if I reach over, as I get close to my guitar, people show up. Or I pick it up and I try to play it, people show up. But today I picked it up and strummed 2 whole chords, and then Lisa showed up. So what else have you been working on today? And how was that brisket? Was that brisket you had last night?
That was like a few nights ago, like 3 or 4 nights ago. was pretty good. I picked it up from Aldi's. It was my first time ever having a brisket, and I had no idea what to expect, but I just put like 4 ounces of water in with it. It was like pre-seasoned with salt and pepper. Cooked it for like 10 hours. It was pretty good. Can't complain.
All right, good, because I've been afraid because I see all these people who smoke it and put it on the grill and do all this work, and I'm like, I don't know, kind of. And then the meat, if you don't really get it soft, it can be kind of tough.
Oh yeah, it's like that's one thing that I've learned while being on the carnivore diet, because being Italian and a pastafarian and being into all the processed foods and junk foods and everything, being a grill master, good at cooking other kinds of meats beyond the hamburgers or hot dogs, kind of wasn't even in my spectrum. So in the last few years, I've been really having to relearn or learn some of it for the first time, how to cook ribs, how to cook pork, how to cook things like chuck roasts, and trying all that, and just trial and error and asking questions. And my experience so far is low and slow.
Yeah, I heard someone say it the other day, and I tried to ascribe to it, is understanding that we have two books in our lives. We have our book of knowledge of what we know, and the book what we don't know of what we don't know. And the book of what we don't know is far larger than the book of what we do know.
Yep, for sure.
And so in cooking meats, I know that I spent 12 years on and off living in Germany. And those are a group of people who really learn to, just like many of the people in the Orient, they have really learned how to cook a piece of pork. Remember that movie Forrest Gump, and he's talking about shrimp. Well, I think the Germans are like that with pork. You can pork this, you can pork that, you can pork, and it works out pretty good.
It's kind of funny too, because I tried ribs before, and like my thing about pork has always been, with the exception of bacon and sausage, it's just pork is such a hard meat, not only to get tender and to keep tender, but to keep the flavor in it after it's cooked, because it just seems like all the flavor and juices just run right out of it, and then you end up with this dry hunk of meat that's just unedible without sauces or something with it.
Well, there's a cut of meat. I don't know what exactly they call it. It's like a pork. It's a pork cut. It has a lot of fat in it. And we go to the grocery store, and it'd be marbled with a bunch of fat and fairly thin, right? And I would take that and I would marinate it in a soy sauce type base marinara, and then put it on the grill and cook it. I think the Koreans would call it bulgogi, but thin sliced meat. Now they'll do it with beef, but you can do it with pork, and you put in a. But I'm not doing soy, right? But you can do a lot of things with pork to dress it up. But if you'll notice, most Asian countries, a lot of their pork gets a lot of either sesame or pepper, spicy peppers, just for what you said. You gotta add something that can kind of what do you call it? Jazz it up a bit.
Yeah.
Julie says she cooked part of a pork roast about 5 hours. It wanted to be pulled pork. You didn't want that, did you, Julie? You didn't want no pulled pork, but you roll with the punches. You read the meat, and you say, "It feels like pulled pork today." That's great.
It's a hard one for me too, with a lot of Asian dishes, because I loved Asian food too.
Mm-hmm.
But so much Asian food, either you have to have the soy sauce with it, or like sesame seed oil, or all that kind of different kind of oils that us now as carnivores deem inflammatory. So it's like, can't do that anymore. And some of the other things I found a certain way around, and with like pork and steak, and found better ways to cook that, even hamburgers for that fact. But
now,
Chinese food I haven't figured out yet.
Now, have you made hamburger soup yet?
Yes, I just made a heck of one the other day. It was amazing.
Ah, that's great, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love some good hamburger soup, and I used to love making like little meatballs, like the size of a large marble maybe, and putting that in and stuff. But in Europe they have what they call wedding soup. Have you ever heard of it?
Yep.
Well, if you're Italian, you've probably heard it. But wedding soup is basically a fairly light broth with little tiny meatballs wrapped around a crouton, right? Well, I just leave the crouton out and have a little bit of, and I love, like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would make a lot of um, pot roasts, not a slow cooker, but a pot roast. And I just absolutely love the flavor of all that fat and all that au jus, so to speak, around it. I mean, that was some good stuff. I really liked that.
That was one problem I always had with like chuck roast, and even now it's like I like it, but I don't like it. It just seems like the lean part of the chuck roast don't taste as good as the fatty part of the chuck roast. It just tastes completely different. And you eat all the fatty parts, and then you get to the lean parts, and you start to feel yourself pushing it away because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't like that flavor of roast. It's not doing it for me like the flavor of a steak would. It just two different complete flavors altogether.
So one of the things I have found, oh, Julius put down about crisp the meatballs. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I was just gonna say, you know what you can try is do you have any excess or do you keep fat trimmings at the house?
I do sometimes.
Well, if you
Sometimes
go
I'll pick
to
them
a,
up from the butcher too.
yeah, if you go to a non-big box butcher, right? Like most states, somewhere you can find either a state butcher or whatever. You can buy just the trimmings. Take your trimmings and dice them up pretty small. Put them in the air fryer. Make some crisp up with it. Pour the oil, pour the fat over the meat because it's been browned a little bit. That add a lot of flavor to the meat, and then have the crisp on the side. So what I'll do is I'll take a little piece of crisp, maybe like the size of my little finger, fingernail, the whole fingernail, or maybe the size of a fingernail, and I'll put that with a piece of dry meat, and that crisp fat, like you have on the edge of a good grilled steak, makes chicken or makes dry pork or dry roast beef like a top round. That makes it good. And the other thing I've done is if I take a top round roast, and those are pretty dry pieces of meat, right? Put it in the slow cooker, cook it for 6, 7 hours, and add some bouillon or whatever. I like to use it's the bouillon that's kind of like a paste, right? And then I'll take the roast out, put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours, pull it out, and slice it as thin as I can, and then take the fat and the au jus, from the day before. I put it in a frying pan. I get it really good and hot, like it's bubbling like nobody's business, and I throw in the thin slices of beef in there, and it holds together. Then it doesn't fall apart. And I throw it in that meat, and normally I'll pull it off as kind of a rare, medium rare. Throw it in that hot flash, cook it for about 30 seconds, plate it, and it's just so good and tender, flavorful. And because cut so thin, and then you got that au jus with the fat and everything on it, it just goes down way easy. Or chop it up and put some provolone or some Swiss cheese and kind of basically, along with a little bit of Italian seasoning, and you have yourself a Philly cheesesteak.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't had fat trimmings since before I got my teeth done. The thing was when I just got an air fryer, I was just new to doing the cooked fat and everything, and it was hard because if you didn't cook it, you cut it up like you said, small enough, and cook it or fry it up long enough, it just was hard to eat. And like going from not eating fat at all, being taught to don't eat fat, take the fat, take the skin off, and I kind of grew accustomed. And then when I started eating fat, I was like, ew, it's gross. It's, especially when it's all like coagulated and just like mushy and soft. It's just gross. And then after time, I grew to love it. And now it's like, oh yeah, bring on the fat. Like my son and my wife, they just still look at me and cringe every time when I'm cooking eggs, I'll, take a pat of butter and then I'll take a little pat for myself and eat it. And it's just like, oh man, it's so delicious. Here, just try a little bit. And they're like, no. You can't get me to do it. I don't mind butter and stuff, but I'm not eating it raw. And I'm like, oh, you're missing out. It's so delicious.
But it's so funny. They'll eat cream cheese, right?
Yep.
They'll eat like brie or some soft cheese if they're at a swanky little party, right? They'll eat what do you call it? Cheese that you can put out of a can, like Cheese Whiz. They'll eat Cheese Whiz, and I'm like, you got to get over it and start with small cold pieces and maybe eat it like I used to like to eat it with pecans or walnuts or cashews, right?
Yeah.
And pretty soon you just leave that stuff out and I can't tell you. You know how they tell you your body will tell you what you want and need? I'll see that stick of butter. We got a little butter dish, it's a Tupperware, sitting on the counter. I'll see that sitting over there, and I'll go slice off a piece, like you said, to eat it. And maybe I have like just a heavy pat, like not a full tablespoon, but just a heavy pat, right? I'll be back over a minute later and get a proper serving. Now, I have noticed that if I get a serving that's, let's say, 3/4 of an inch thick on a stick, it does kind of fill the mouth a lot, So yeah, I can understand a little bit. I don't want to go like that, but when I was eating the standard American diet, one of my favorite things to do, my wife makes a lot of cakes and cupcakes and stuff at this time, and we normally have a can of Duncan Hines icing in the refrigerator, right? I take the icing out and eat it by the spoonful, right? Or take the icing and put it on a piece of toast, like toast up some toast, make some toast, and then spread a big glob on there, like I'm doing. What is that stuff? Nutella, but I do with icing, and sometimes I even add butter on top of the icing, and make a sandwich just icing and butter and toast. I didn't have a problem. No.
Excuse me. Back to what you were saying with the fat, eating it with different kinds of meat. It's kind of like how mashed potatoes used to work with, you get a dry piece of meat and a spoonful of mashed potatoes.
Right.
Instantly, that meat becomes tender and edible.
And how many times?
Always magical how that worked.
How many times did you make a volcano in your mashed potatoes for butter?
Yep. To think back for years, me and my wife, we talk about this all the time. It's like, man, we discussed ourselves with how we'd buy the giant tubs of country crock and never know how absolutely horrid it was for you, because we were so sold and bought into that lie of fat is bad, butter is bad. And it's like, now I'm looking back, it's like, it was just the complete polar opposite.
Man, don't you wish we could
who knows how much damage we did to each.
Don't you just wish we could get into a great big class action lawsuit against the makers of country crock, Crisco, and I can't believe it's not butter. I mean, it's even in the name. I can't believe it's not butter. Then you probably shouldn't eat it.
Right. But I can't believe it's a bunch of garbage chemicals that are going to make you sick.
that you'll never get out of your body unless you get rid of the fat.
It was like that soup that I made. I took some ground beef because I was just sitting here thinking, it's like, man, I'm just getting tired of eating ground beef by itself. And it was my last package of not the highest grade ground beef, not like the 80/20 or anything like that, just like Walmart meat. Probably say enough right there. But Walmart ground beef. And I was like, well, it's not tasting good just cooking it or just putting anything with it, even if it's taco seasoning, hot sauce, whatever you put with it, just not tasting the greatest. So I was like, I got to think of something to put with this. So I was like, all right. I grabbed some beef broth, put a couple of, like 2 cups of that in with a pound of meat. And I grabbed maybe about half a cup of, what do you call that? Heavy whipping cream, popped that in there. And added some salt and pepper and garlic, and then threw in the steam fresh bag of cauliflower. Oh my gosh, man. Absolute heaven. It's just so good. And now
Yeah,
that I can't do the potatoes anymore, so it's like, hey, cauliflower don't bother me no more, so why not?
there you go. I mean, you find the hill you want to die on when you're doing
Yep.
this, right? And like I said, I'll have my coffee and I'll put butter, cocoa butter. I'll put MCT oil in it, and I'll put my fake sweetener in it because it keeps me from going to the other stuff. And so I think, you find out what works for you, and then you start noticing a difference. Like I'm noticing the cheekbones. I notice your cheekbones are popping out of your face there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, you find what works for you and you stick with it. I think the real deal isn't like I've been seeing a lot of thumbnails and like I won't call them clickbait, but thumbnails that make people say, "Oh, what happened? Oh, what's going on? What do you mean you can't do this? What do you mean that happened?" And all it really is them saying, "Yeah, I fell off the wagon a little bit, and I'm trying to tighten up a bit." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? And anybody out there, Laura or Julia or Lisa, what do you think constitutes falling off the wagon?
I'm glad you brought that up because on my son's birthday, a once a year life celebration, especially his 16th golden birthday, I hung out with him. I told him, just take the day off of school. We'll go hang out. We'll go because we had to drive out to another city way out up north and to get the kittens where we found. So we made it kind of a day of hanging out together and going to pick up the kittens, and we stopped at a couple pet stores and stores to pick up pet supplies and stuff. And on the way before we went to get the cats, we stopped and we got a Blizzard ice cream. We each had a small Blizzard, and then later on that night, I was like, oh, well, everything ran late and it's really late and no one feels like cooking. Let's have some pizza. And then bam, right back to it the next day. And I even had a carnivore meal before when the morning started. So it's not like I even went off plan or like fell off the wagon, like you said. I just had one day where, things happen and I'm not going to upset myself. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. It's just one day out of, what is it, like 81 days now that I'm doing?
Yeah,
Not a
and
big deal at all. It's no skin off my back. I don't care.
yeah, exactly. I think when people get too now, look, there are some people for some things they need to be pretty strict about, and I get that. And I was just watching, is it a Kilby Life? Um, they went to the keto convention, KetoCon or something. Spent 3 days doing that, and then a week of binging because that kind of fired up an engine. And I get that and I respect that, but I really gotta say, like you said, one day, one thing, that's not off the quote unquote reservation because I had one little piece of cheesecake. I didn't die. So I think what would do us better. Now I know that some people may say that they have that again. I'll use the word even though it's not necessarily true. Clickbait, and some people are needing YouTube to provide them financial revenue, and to support. I get that. Okay, I feel very blessed,
Hey, clickbait works though too.
but I
You
do
almost
believe that,
you kind of have to do the clickbait because it works, and you need your views and you need your channel to grow and you want the message to get out. So I mean, it's kind of a necessary evil, if you even could call it an evil.
so. Laura's saying eating or drinking a bunch of sugar or a loaf of bread. Well, I get it, but the question I have is, can we? Hmm. Let me try to see if I can find another way of articulating it, and that would be understand that each one of us have different thresholds and different drivers. Is there a general consensus that we might reach on when is it detrimental to your long-term outcomes and goals? And I think that probably starts on day 2 or meal 2 of not eating the way you've decided to eat. Does that make any sense?
Definitely.
Yeah. a slip, intentional act that we normally. So that's why I agree with you, Lisa.
Yep, same here.
I think if you intentionally know, because like Chuck was saying, if I'm going to go out for a birthday and I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm not going to be the dork or the odd person out to make everybody feel bad, you know what I mean? Um, Fine. And if I get right back to my program and I don't have a problem, but some people will have a problem, and it's important. It's like they say to you would never tell a person who has been addicted to heroin, just have a little bit. Well, they kind of do with methadone, but once they're off, you don't come back to, well, I'll just do a little bit, right? No one would say that, but food is so essential. And I think that's what the problem with food addictions are is alcohol you don't need, right?
Yep.
Carbs you might not need, but you have to have food. And so it's hard.
Definitely. Because like we were saying, like Julie was just saying there, like before when I fell off the wagon and stuff before, it wasn't just, oh, I'm just gonna have pizza tonight and then I'm back on track tomorrow. No, it was ended up being a week or two long bender of messing up and then going like erasing everything I just did. And with this way, it was like what? It was like 76 or 77 days or something like that, doing perfect the whole time. One little, couple little treats during the day, enjoying my time with my son, and then going right back to it the next day. And the best part is, I didn't have any cravings or withdrawals or anything, or any guilt about it or anything. Or I didn't feel weird like I did earlier, like I would have earlier on if I had a little treat or something, and it just felt perfectly normal.
And also I think if we're the captain of the decision, in other words, like it wasn't like it snuck up on you. Like let's say let's say you have a business meeting, right? And your business meeting ends up going to a lunch, and it's an important one, and the customer you're out with wants to go eat at I'll pick something. Don't get mad at me, Chuck, but wants to go eat at Olive Garden, right? And you're like, it's gonna be hard for me to stick on this at Olive Garden, right? And so you have some with it, and because you had some for that reason, maybe all of a sudden you really that in that meal to say you just go hog heaven on the never ending pasta bowl, right? I get it, but the real thing, and this help me, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think Julia, you're saying it there. I think Lisa said it as well. Um, did you really do it that way, or you just playing it up, right? And I think when you do the attention grabbing and the sympathy thing, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And I think when you injure your character and your credibility, it's hard to get it back. What do you think about that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I just happened to realize I only had 4 slices of pizza and I think one piece of cheese bread. And back like before I went carnivore or anything, I would have had an entire pizza and like totally picked out on it. And then just eating that little bit, it was full. And then I got to thinking, how some fitness experts say, I listen to everybody and I'm always like shooting ideas in and out and everything. And say they think. And so I figured, well, why not? Why not give this a try? Because I mean, it could be true and it could be helpful just to take a small break like that every now and then and have something we deem normal or, the old normal. Because like if eating that little bit of carbs that day shocked my system enough to like change it or like, give it that shock it need to give me more progress when I went back, hey, that could be a win for me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's enough evidence out there without me having to say it is that our bodies like to respond to stressors.
Yep.
And if eating meat and carnivore products consistently 30, 60, 90, 120 days, and you get to a stall, and all of a sudden you say, look, I'm going to have 2 slices of pizza and then I may do something else, like have a glass of milk, or who knows. You have it, your body's go, whoa, whoa, whoa. All of a sudden, the pancreas is firing back up again, and all these other things are going on. Your body goes, what's going on? I think the key element in all that, to me, the key element would be continuing to move in your life. In other words, if you're exercising, if you're doing something demanding of your body physically, right? I think the stressor of diet, small stressor, is very effective. Now, if you're not moving at all, I think that diet stressor can have a larger negative impact, particularly for hormonal signaling. But if you're getting out and you're walking a couple miles or walking around the block, if you're going up and down the stairs a bunch, like I've been going up and down a ladder a bunch, working on this pavilion. And I tell you what, if you're not used to going up and down ladders, you don't have to do that too many times before you really feel like. The other day I was up on the roof and I had to sit down because we're working on the base of the chimney and we're putting the trim work up. And being tall and big and heavy and clumsy, I just can't bend over on a roof with my feet bent at like 90 degrees, and bend over and hold a piece of wood up while we're trying to, fix it, right? So I sat down on the roof. Well, now I'm standing up, sitting down, using muscles I don't normally use to make sure I don't fall off the roof, That's exercise to me.
Yeah, same here. That's reminds me of something I had to do because in our master bathroom, we had the wall panel for the shower, the sheetrock panel for the shower taken off.
Right.
So we had some pipes, and it was done a long time ago. And I thought, well, when I get to it, I'll get to it. And never bothered messing with it or trying to put things back. And then I thought last minute, I was like, oh, shoot, we have a bunch of 2 little kittens running around. I don't want them crawling inside the wall and getting lost. So I have to do it. And as hard as it was for me getting down on my hands and knees, having to pound in sheetrock that low and everything, I had to do it. It sucks. It sucks so bad, but hey, it was something, and it actually probably helped doing that.
Sometimes you're driven to do what you got to do, right?
Yep.
So, Laura, my project today, my volunteer project. So I don't have him here, but last night I had the young man staying in my house whose grandfather's been in the hospital for a long time. His grandfather is his legal guardian. His mom is a guest of the state for a long time. And so anyway, long short it was, his grandfather got out of the hospital today. And so I spent many hours sitting in a not a nursing home. Well, it's a nursing home. And what do they call it when you're have to get healthy again? I can't remember the exact name of the word, but a temporary. What's that?
Rehabilitate.
A rehabilitation center. So they had all of that there. Anyway, he's been there for a number of months, and I did great because I was saying earlier, Lisa listened to the first 5 minutes, but I really felt good. My non-scale victory was this fairly 200 plus pound man. I pushed him down the hallway with one hand on his wheelchair while I held all his personal belongings in another hand, and was able to guide the wheelchair just on brute strength to keep it going straight. Nice. All the way around a couple bends and down some hallways, all the way out, and then lifted him up. Thank you, Maribel. And lifted him up and got him into the truck that was taking him home. And then got him home, lifted him back up, put him in the wheelchair, and then had to pull it up the ramp and had to clear a 3-inch gap. And then got him up the ramp, got him in the house, and then later on went back because I called to check it out, and he needed to get taken to bed. So I went out of the house and over to his house about 10 minutes away and lifted him up out of the wheelchair and into his transfer chair, from the transfer chair to the bed so he can get to sleep. And I painted on the ceiling of the gazebo up and down the stairs. So the pavilion. So how did my project go today? I tell you what, I asked God to use me, and He did, and I feel great about it. And my back's not too wiggity, And tomorrow morning, dark 30, the youngin has to go to school. So as the youngin's going to go to school, somebody's got to get Pops up out the bed and get him ready when the nurse comes, a home health nurse. So guess who's going to be over there? You betcha. And I feel good. I was able to do all the lifting at a when you're lifting people aren't like dumbbells.
No.
No,
That weight is very much heavier.
yeah, and I got a transfer belt that with handles, but even still, you're cognizant. You don't want to hurt the person, but you don't want them fall down with all their weight on a wheelchair or a bed or something, right? So I was able to do all that consistently throughout the day, sitting down, getting up, doing, and I'm still able to sit here tonight and be somewhat articulate and cognizant. I would not have been able to do all this 4 months ago. I promise you that. So it went great today. Thank you for asking, Laura. I appreciate that. Thank you, Maribel. We got it. Rehab. I'm learning how to use words. Oh, I know about weight belts, and I also know that I don't have to use a weight belt unless I get picking up more than my body weight, because every time before I do anything anymore, I know to set my transverse obliques. So what I basically do is I pull my belly button toward my spine, and then I hold it down, and your transverse obliques work just like a weight belt. And that's what stabilizes my back. And so I was able to get it done, and I'm pretty strong for an old guy. I'm not going to do what I used to do, but, I tell you what, and you can help me, Chuck. I mean, if you're an ambulatory, overweight person, you're stronger than most people think because you're moving a lot of weight.
Yep, definitely.
And so once you start losing that weight, as long as you're staying active, I remember, I'll never forget, there was a guy I was in a play like a million years ago, like last century by a couple of decades, right? This guy was a big fella, beautiful voice, great actor, huge fella. Well, he lost a lot of weight, but in his process of losing weight, we were doing a show called Little Abner. Anyway, as he was losing weight, I noticed one day he walked by, his calves were the size of pumpkins. I mean, he had calves that just wouldn't quit. And when he lost a lot of weight, he still had they're the size of cabbages, these calves. I mean, bodybuilders would love to have had calves his strength, right? But when you're moving around 600 pounds, 550, 600 pounds, you're going to have a lot of muscle. So I think that's why sometimes really heavy people lose a lot of weight quickly, because they have a lot of muscle mass. Their metabolism rocking.
Yeah, I used to get a lot of that because, I've been heavy, I think, ever since I was about 7 years old. I've been overweight. So I've been carrying a lot of weight around with me, especially through my teen years. I was considerably overweight. And I always used to surprise people when we were playing football, because they were like, wow, you can move so fast for a big guy. I was surprised by your speed. And it's well, yeah, I've been carrying around this weight all my life. I got the conditioning to move it around.
Well, I always tell people there's a difference between being quick and being fast. Because when you're quick, that means short space, cover it real quick, a burst of energy. When you're fast, that means you do it for a period of time.
That was exactly me. I could do little spurts here and there, move very quickly in short distances, but long ones, I forget that. I ain't running.
Do you ever follow professional football?
I used to, yeah.
Did you ever remember a guy by the name? He went by the refrigerator, Perry?
Yep.
Okay. He was the first guy who was consistently over 300 pounds naturally to play in the NFL. All right. Did you know that he could do a standing dunk?
Nice.
That's pretty impressive right? He was a physical specimen. And when you look at him, you see how big he is, and he has some big girth too, you know what I mean? But nowadays you look at guys who weigh 300 pounds and they barely have anything lapping over their belly in the NFL. I mean, they got to be 350 pounds to have that same amount of size. And here at the bottom line, the physics doesn't care how cool you are, right? There he is. What do you got there? Which one is that? No audio.
This is my son's cat. This is Smokey.
Smokey.
How cute he is.
He's a
The other
cutie.
one's so small. It's even smaller than Smokey is. Such
That's
a cute
cool.
little cat. It's so nice having an animal in the house again.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I've had cats and we have dogs, and I'm gonna stick with dogs. But that's me.
Yeah, same here. I'm definitely more of a dog person because I just love their personalities and everything. But the only reason I never used to like cat is because I was always so immensely allergic, like incredibly allergic. Like even just touching the cat for a moment when I was a kid, my eyes would be all puffy and red and itchy, and I'd be coughing and sneezing and wheezing. Wouldn't be
Right.
worth it. So I didn't want to be around them. Now it's like, nothing.
You just have to be so happy to see a victory like that, you know?
Yep.
And yes, Laura, you
My
absolutely
wife keeps asking me, "How are you doing? Are you having any breathing problems or anything?" I was like, "No, I'm quite shocked." I'm like, I had like, because we had hamburgers for dinner tonight, and I had the cats, both of them, right up on my desk, wanting some, and I fed them little niblets of my hamburger and everything, and now I have two new best friends. But at the end of it, one was sitting here, and the other one was sitting up here. Just kind of gained two new little buddies by feeding them some of my burger.
oh, well, I bet you they'd eat that hamburger right out of your mouth if you weren't careful.
Oh yeah. Got to thinking too, like, hey, I told the wife, I was like, hey, we're doing the carnivore thing. Why not include the animals on it too? Because I saw a couple of recipes for cats. You could take ground chicken,
Right.
with the bones and the skin and everything, chicken hearts, chicken liver, and grind it all together and just make your own cat food for them, and they can eat it raw.
Well, I know they have the same issue though, transitioning from a standard kitten chow to that. They could have rather loose stools, and you got to be careful there. But hey, I want to talk real quick, Laura. You are absolutely right. You do have to be careful for the sudden. I don't want to act like a buffoon and a know-it-all. You're absolutely correct about that, and I don't want to be that guy to be oblivious. Yes, the kitties are beautiful and wonderful, and I'm glad they're in your house and not mine. Dog hair last week put down. Oh yeah, 18. You got a kitten now. I got it. My dog's gonna live a long time. It's gonna break my heart. I've always had to be the one, except for one animal. I've always had to be the one to do the last trip, and I tell you, it breaks my heart every time. Well, I had the middle finger on my right hand, and different went. Oh yeah. Them horse. Now that's the other thing too. Those bigger animals, and I don't care if it's a horse or if it's a Great Dane, a pony, uh, a Galapagos turtle. When something starts weighing over 100 pounds, you're dealing with some significantly demanding physics, and that's what I was getting about when I talk about football. When you weigh 350 pounds and you hit somebody at full speed, body parts are going to give up the ghost. That's why they get heavy. Oh, you got so we'll have to see the kitty. You're gonna have to show us a picture of the kitty one day, Maribel. You're gonna have to get one up and post it on your channel or do something. Don't just tease us that you got a kitty in the house and you never show it. Like I've actually showed my dogs before, but no, I get it. You can always grab the link and show us a kitty. You can put the kitty right
So
to the
funny.
camera.
You see the words scrolling across the screen there?
Yeah.
When the cat jumped on the desk, it looked at the screen and started batting at it. Oh, cats are a trip.
They are. And they love them. They love those laser pointers too.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of them for them. They absolutely
That's cool.
love them.
That's cool. So what do you got going on this weekend, bud?
Nothing much. Just probably playing with the cats, and I don't know. Don't really do much. It seems like, I don't know, in my experience anyway, you get older, you get married, you stop drinking, you stop living the sinful life, and not much happens anymore now that I'm older.
Well, are you a reader? Do you like to read books? I know you did
Not,
musical stuff.
beyond the Bible, not really. I really have something really has to hold my interest in order for me to crack a book open. But like I'll like watch YouTube videos of all certain things. As I study, the carnivore diet, of course. I study religion or biblical history, that kind of thing. I watch movies, all sorts of different things. So a lot of things that keep my time busy, and then like when I can, I like to go out in nature and experience like being unplugged from everything. We'll leave
Right.
our phones in the car and just go find a nice trail somewhere with a bench and just kind of sit there and soak it all in.
Well, I've been taking up. I've always liked to do. I don't know, hands-on kind of creative things. That's why I have the guitar, and I got some artwork on the wall I've done and some things like that. And I'm looking for. I've done some photography. I like doing some photography, but I'm looking for that balance of something I can do into old age. I mean, I'm already kind of older, but into old age. And so one of the things I'm beginning to pick up on is whittling, you know, and eventually I'm going to have this fireplace pavilion of mine ready for me to go out there and just tinker. And I just want to have the fire going and sit in my rocking chair, whatever, and just get lost in creating and doing, And so I'm trying whittling now. So I'm gonna try to do that.
Just telling the wife today that I want to get the because I don't know if you really call it a business, but something I'm trying to get started up that I started a while ago, and it really never took off to the potential that I wanted to.
Right.
I mean, obviously, talking about Christianity, I've been a Christian for years, but I took my love for photography and graphic design and everything, and I started designing like different Christian type T-shirts and sayings and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm a somewhat of an affiliate through Amazon, so I can like create T-shirt designs and have them like put them on their site, and they print them and everything, and they'll ship them out and everything. But I'm just not selling the shirts at the rate or whatever that I want to. So I've been thinking about trying to get that rolling again.
Oh, okay.
Something fun to do, and I can maybe even throw some carnivore stuff at it now, and who knows?
I wanted to get a shirt, kind of thinking of a design that says something like, "I came for the steak and I stayed for the health."
Nice.
I think that'd be kind of a cool tagline, And don't you do photography?
Yeah, well, I did before. I haven't been doing much of photography lately because I think I have it here. The camera that I have, it's quite old, but I haven't used it in a while. It's like a really old, just a little Canon,
Uh-huh.
little flip up LED screen. I mean, it's not the best, but sadly, my phone takes better pictures than this does now. That's how outdated it is.
Absolutely. Killing the camera country. I know that there are competitions where photographers will go out with like a Kodak box camera and try to get the best picture. Because, yeah, as you know, composition and things like that are so much more important than, well, I used Canon, what's a big one? The Canon, not the 5, I got a Canon 5D, but some people, get the great big Canon, a big Nikon, and they got the 400 or 600 millimeter f2.8 super duper lens, Not everybody can do that, Sometimes you got to just take what you have available. So I see there's your son moving through.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, let me answer some questions here. Yes, everybody just seems to do a little bit of photography, a little bit something. Oh, okay, so pricing artwork, Maribel, that is the $600 question. And I have heard that you'll have the longest term success. I just read it. My wife, she is actually an artist of some renown. You see the picture right there with the bridge on it?
Yeah, I love scenery.
Yeah, my wife painted those, and she had an art showing, and she just wanted to do it for love offerings. And so I researched the standard, and the standard is to sell it by price per square inch. So if you're going to sell it for $1 per square inch, and that's why you have consistency in what you do, because one of the things artists do to short themselves is they'll sell something that goes for $1 an inch, and then they'll sell something for 8 cents an inch, right? Because they get hung up on, I don't want to charge $80 or $250 or $2,000, right? But when you're inconsistent in selling your works, some people feel like they got a great deal and then they want a great deal on everything. So what they say is, and this is what I've read, and you can probably read the same thing in other sites, is that if you stick to a price per square inch, so if you have an 8x10, which is a sheet of paper, right? And you say it's $1 a square inch, then you charge it $80 for the painting. Then if you're going to provide the frame, you got to put the frame costs. I've always taken my businesses and things I've done and said, if you're going to price something, you need to look at all your material costs and then multiply it times 3, right? But that also means how do you use your time. So coming up with a price per square inch, and then over time you can change it. You can have an increment change, but you can say my price per square inch is going to be $1 square inch. But if you have a 36 by 36 or 36 by 40, you're talking $1,200, $1,500. What you do is you price it up to that full price, and then you can discount. You know what I mean? But you want to put that price up. It's just figuring it out. See what the local market's doing, and see what you can do. That's what I have. That's what I've done. Yeah, you can get some amazing. Spike Lee says there's more, and this was many years ago. Spike Lee said an iPhone had more filming capability than he had in his first cameras. He did some award-winning movies on. Horses. Yeah, horses, of course. I've ridden a couple horses. But hey, Flat Earth beats you the P90 camera. Awesome zoom. P900. All right.
I always wanted to get a DSL or whatever.
Yeah.
DSLR or whatever. Those ones, like really expensive ones.
Right.
But
well, I tell you what.
Yeah, nice.
DSLR is on the way out, and if you were to go get a Canon digital, those are. I mean, bottom line, they're that solid digital, and they're doing so well. And you can spend the same amount of money and get so much more capability. I mean, I remember when I got my first camera that could do 6 megapixels, it cost me about $700. And now my cell phone can do 80 megapixel pictures. You know what I mean? And you can get a Canon or Nikon full digital, and you can get a full frame digital and take amazing pictures. But what most people forget is your camera body is only part of it. So it starts first with the photographer, then it jumps to the lens, and then to the body. Your body is probably your least important thing with your lenses.
I think I had that camera like right at the beginning, right when cell phones started to become, the pictures started to become really good. And I always remember getting upset with my wife because we were at the conservatory taking pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And all her pictures were like the same quality as mine. I'm like, what gives, man? This is like at the time it was like $150 camera and whatever, and your stupid phone's taking almost better shots than mine has. And I was upset about it.
Yeah. Okay, Maribel. So yeah, it's really tough. It depends on what you're selling too. Maribel, if you're selling photographs, I think that's a lot different market than selling paintings. If you're selling acrylics versus are you selling oil painting? Because oil takes forever to set. So it's about timing. It's about your customer love and appreciation for what you're doing and saturation. I have to be honest, but for both my wife and myself, we have decided that um, we're going to do our art, and we're doing it mainly for the love of doing it. And then we will do work. Like my wife is a much better artist than I, and she does some commission work, but she really doesn't like to do too much of it. What she does, she just paints what's in her heart. And then we had a showing a couple months ago, and a couple months, a couple more months, we're gonna have another showing, and people just come to the house. Her studio's upstairs, and as a matter of fact, that's the name of her 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 artwork is the studio upstairs.
Nice.
And she goes in, and people come in, and she has suggested love offerings, anywhere from 25 to $45. You walk away with them, and if you're nice and you're not, like, we have one neighbor who was a jerk. She came in kind of demanding. She said she wanted a picture. Someone else bought it. She didn't show up till 2 o'clock, and it was like from 9 to 2 or 10 to 2. She showed up at 2. It already got sold, and she got all snooty. And the wife said, probably the last picture I ever paint will be the one that's close to what you wanted. But because she just got so angry with the lady being snooty. So we don't like to do a whole bunch. My wife did a pair of paintings for someone, angels. She did angels with these little girls, and there's no face. Is just the idea, because this one real estate agent had sold a house to a client, gotten close to them, and the mother passed, and she had two little girls. And she saw my wife's painting of the angels, and she said, "Can you do angels with little girls? One with the blonde hair, one with a brunette." And my wife said, "Sure, I'll give it a good old try." And the lady said, "How much do you want?" She said, "Well, just make me an offer, kind of like a love offering." Lady gave her $5
Wow.
for two custom pieces of art that were beautiful. And I was like, some people would do that. You give them that. If my wife had told her it'd be $250, she probably would have paid $250, right? But some people will just take advantage of you. So she said, "You know what? Once burned,
I've
twice tried."
run into that as a mechanic and an artist. So yeah, I know how it goes. Oh, you know how to do this? You can do that. Hey, could you help me out? It's like, sure. And you end up getting taken advantage of.
Well, so that's a good point, because I've had a guy down the street. Well, I've actually had two or three guys that I know in my circles from church, and almost every man in the world has a better man card than I do for fixing stuff. My man card is pick up heavy things and move them, and be dependable, right? So I'm dependable and I move heavy things. That's where God put me. Well, I had one guy helping me do. I built this pavilion that had open gables, and I realized with open gables, too much wind, and I'll never be able to keep the mosquitoes out, because I can hang all the bug netting I want, but if you don't close the gables, right? So I got a bid, and the person came to give me a bid who was a low bid guy in his truck. You know what I mean? And the bid was about $3,000.
Ouch.
Well, me and a buddy, we did it for under $300, right? Then I've got another buddy down the street. He's a framer. I got the fireplace. He's helped me do everything. He's never done it before, but he's a framer and a builder and a friend. And we were putting the tile up. So I got about 100 square foot of tile to put up. And we get it all put up in these 12-inch by 18-inch pieces of tile. Get it all done. And I'm talking about this, that, and other, and price. He said, this would have cost about $6,000 to get done. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, oh, no. And I thought, wow. He did it because he's a friend. I asked his wife, should I make a financial compensation? Right? And she said, you would offend him highly if you did that. I said, okay. So some people do like to do things to help people. But other times when a person coming to you, they should at least give you the opportunity to say no.
Right.
If you say no, then bad on you.
Yeah, I was pulling some old stuff out of a drawer because I don't know exactly how. I would love to show you some of my digital work on here, but I have no idea how to share it. But I have some old artwork that I used to do.
Oh, that's cool.
Like there's a few of them here.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
When I was younger in my digital art,
Ah,
I liked animals and superheroes when I was younger.
of course. Yeah.
And then you'll recognize a couple of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Funny. This one was one of my favorites, Taz.
Oh, I love the Taz, and
Yeah, me too.
he looks like he got caught doing something bad.
Right? Another Animaniac from the 90s.
Yeah.
And this was probably one of my pride and joys, one of the best ones I ever did with Wolverine. Oh, I just love that. Wolverine was like, I was obsessed with that character as a kid. In fact, I named my son after the character's real name. Well, character's real name, like his not Wolverine, but his name in real life. Well, in the story was Logan.
Right.
I named my son after him. So.
Well, now if he gets on the track team, it'd be Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I tell you what, sometimes, what you could do is you could always, since you did it, you could probably use your camera or a scanner, right? And then you could probably take some of your artwork, and once you scanned it in or get a camera, then shrink it down and then make like a collage, and make it, if you do, I don't know if you use, I don't know what software you might use to do editing. I'm looking on my computer, but if you use Photoshop or something, right? Maybe you could make a layer with some of your stuff on it, kind of transparent. Then you can put your channel name on there and do that. And I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Hey, Maribel, I agree with you. I can't even draw a circle with a compass. So, hey, I get you.
If I've thought about things, if I can go back in time and do things all over again with the knowledge that I have now, I would never stop drawing. And instead of going into auto mechanics and stuff, I'd go into like voice acting, like radio broadcasting and voice acting. Because I always wanted to be a voice actor. I love that kind of work.
Well, let me ask you a question, Chuck. How old are you?
I'm going to be 45 this year.
Okay, so I would tell you from the perspective of a guy who's 61, right? You have 3 more careers in you. And I think that if what you want to do is be a voice actor or you want to be a graphic artist, I think you can do it. And I think the way to do that is to just start doing it and leave your foot in the. Now, you're not working right now, correct? Because of physical limitations?
Yeah.
So, I mean, now's the time then, if you're not working and things are working. So I think now's the time when you could say, hey, I'm going to put in some sweat equity time on perfecting and working on your drawing and working on graphic art stuff, like getting Photoshop down or whatever it is that you're going to use. And not with the intention to make money, but just the intention to get better. And you might be able to find, let's say you could find a niche where you took your artwork and put it towards doing things that are in alignment with your faith, right? I think there are a lot of people, like I have a picture I took here. I'll hold it up. It's a macro picture of a dandelion, right?
Nice.
Now, and just done in black and white. Went out in my backyard, took the picture. I bet you if you took something like this, you go get your camera, take a picture, and find some scripture to put underneath it, right? And be able to put it maybe right, like in a little thing here. You don't have to put it all in there. You know what I mean? You could have Ephesians 13:3 or whatever. You know what I mean? And then on the bottom, you could put it down. I bet you could find a lot of market space that you can put it up with and do it, because I almost get to be like, what's that website they use? Fiverr. Have you heard of Fiverr?
Yep.
Well, there are people out there who have a lot of skills who are waiting to build it up. And you could get a Fiverr account and put some things out there and get people to say, hey, can you whip me? And you can underbid people like, crazy, because you're sitting there say, I don't have all the skills and I don't have all the acumen, but I have the desire and the time, right? And you could start doing stuff where you take your passion for photography, your passion for art and graphic design, and your passion for scripture, marry them up. And like you said, whether it's a T-shirt, I think T-shirts are great, but I think people, I go to all the time, every day. Matter of fact, I forgot to do it today. But every time I go to look for scriptures and do things, I always see these websites with beautiful pictures and a scripture done with the right script on them, right? I think you could do quite well just marrying those three up at the same time, and slowly but surely build up some type of repertoire, a collection of things that you can run. And then you do, aren't you into music too?
I used to play guitar and stuff, but it would probably take more money, a lot more money than I have to even get any of that going again.
No,
I
no,
used to
no,
like it.
no. I'm talking about getting something like GarageBand on Apple, right? You can make your own tunes. They've got, you got to run up a little tune and put a little music behind it and make a little music on a slideshow, and then
Nice.
put it on. Like, I make shorts on my YouTube, right? And they have music already available, and you can get instrumental. I didn't know that. I just found that out like 2 weeks ago, right? When you make a YouTube short, have you ever done that?
Yeah, I've made a few of them.
Okay, make a YouTube short, but don't make it of you. Make a YouTube short of the dog or the kittens. Like, people love cats, right? Get your phone out, grab some video, cut it up, make it short, put some text, put some instrumental behind it, make either the 15-second ones, or make the 1 minute one, but only make it like 35 seconds long. And then grab some instrumental music, put some nice words on there, and start cranking those out. Next thing you know, you're going to get people looking at 1,000, 2,000, 20,000 views, because people just love kittens. Get them playing with
Yeah,
balls. Get them playing with the crawling on you. Get them doing the playing with paper. But the thing is, use your talent for choosing words and script, and you're sitting there, jam out a bunch of those. What do you think?
yeah, I'm open for all kinds of ideas. Cause like I have well, I had one. I think it got broken somehow, but I had a drawing monitor,
Right?
and I can draw like freehand really well and everything. So I got the monitor, and there's a program out there called some kind of studio, Clip Studio or something like that, to
Hmm.
where you can just sit and draw, freehand and everything, and do that kind of stuff, and like practice that, because that was our drawing was always fun to me, but like drawing with pencil and paper, it's good for yourself and everything to keep stuff, or if like you're artist selling stuff or whatever. But it seems like digital is where it's at now, and I'd want to kind of really want to try to hone that in and get that looking really good.
Well, again, and you can pick your poison, but I just think that you have a passion and a knack for between the photography, the scripture, and and doing things like that, and you have a desire to create. That'd be a wonderful way to do some mashups, even using Capcom or something like that, and putting together some pretty spectacular things, and giving you the opportunity to let people know you're out there. So that way, when you maybe do like Fiverr or something like that, then you might turn $1.280 on that.
Definitely.
That's right, Laura. That guy north of Richmond. That's another one. Yeah, illustrated for medical books. Yeah, I mean, I think when we allow our talents to marry up to what God's will is for our life, it gets a little bit more dynamic and better for us. It's this idea. Sometimes we tend to want to drive the bus a little more than maybe we should. and surrendering isn't our strong suit, right?
I figured out a way how to show you some different stuff. I'll just have to move my cam a little bit and show you the other screen.
Uh-huh.
We can do that. See that one?
Yeah.
Is now smoking or now seating eternity, smoking or non-smoking.
Yeah.
So that one's kind of clever.
You got a question here from Keto. Cheeto said, Chuck, where you at? It's East Tennessee for Keto Cheeto.
I am in Minnesota.
A little further to the north. All right, Julia. Thanks. Thank you. Time for your Bread Tear Prayer podcast. Okay. All right. Well, what do you think you're reading tonight, Julia? What's the prayer podcast all about? And thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you spending time here. I know it's been a full week of doing things this week, and everybody's got a lot of stuff going on. So I really do appreciate you coming in. And of course, everybody, you saw the people there. Laura wants you to give that old mare a hug, so you make sure you do that. And I guess have give some love to the horses for us. And I know that those animals sure do work away into our hearts and makes it really difficult on us at times. But take care of yourself. God bless, and sleep peacefully. Okay. I tell you, people they don't appreciate how quality sleep really can impact their lives, particularly when you're trying to do so much like we're doing here, right?
Maribel says, really cool.
What's that?
So do you want to see something really cool? Here, let me see if we can get it over there without unplugging my camera. See that one? I put my son when he was 4. I put him in Jesus's lap.
Oh, that's awesome.
That neat. Just had the idea and I ran with it. And I had worked on that one for days, so I got it just right.
Oh, that is really good. Hey, Chuck, you got a question from Maribel about how did you come to be a carnivore?
How I came to be a carnivore, it all started out with keto. And one day I was watching a YouTube video. I stumbled across a health coach by the name of Health Coach Kate. She had a video up about insulin resistance. Watched that. And then I started researching insulin resistance, and I came across Ben Bickman. And then through Ben Bickman, I found Keto Connect, and then I stumbled on keto. And then eventually I found Dr. Berry, and then the rest, and tried keto for a little while. And then I heard Dr. Berry talking about carnivore, and the rest is history.
I love Dr. Ben Bickman. I love Dr.
Me too. The guy is he explains things so nice.
Big brain, and he's so humble and nice.
He is.
And I'm at the end of my coffee, so what I'm going to do, I know we've been on for only about an hour and a half tonight, but it is almost, just went past 11 o'clock, and I have to get up early in the morning to be able to be of any use to that gentleman who might need me to help him up in the morning. So let me give you a few moments here, there, Chuck. Just last minute thoughts, concerns, question, things you're thinking about.
Nothing in particular that I'm thinking about. Just you're thinking about going to carnivore or keto, because in the long and short of it, this is what I've kind of always been bouncing around in my head, but in the long and short of it, it's rather you're doing keto or carnivore or somewhere in between, as long as you're cutting out all the bad stuff, eating whole foods and everything. It's all ketogenic, and this lifestyle is healing. It's amazing. Give it a shot. You can't be disappointed. I mean, at least 30 days, and then 30 days will turn into 60 days, and 60 will turn into 90, and you just keep feeling better and better. You know, I mean, hey, there's thousands of stories out there that, you know, this works. So I'm glad I found it. It definitely has changed my life.
I think you hit on some really key ingredients there, Chuck, and that is, you know, you dial it in, you find what works for you, you don't beat yourself up, and you understand this is a long-term effort, and you find out pretty quickly what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I think if this was going to be a video to introduce you on how to do this type of thing, I think we'd all agree that you first have to find your why. Like, what is it that's driving you to want to make this fundamental change? It's going to take your work. I mean, a lot of people have lost a lot of weight. A lot of people have had some what they would call miraculous changes in their well-being, but it happened over months of effort. Some things came quickly, other things were stop and go. But in the end here, it's this idea that you start this eating, and when you talk about getting rid of the unhealthy stuff, it's really a glorified elimination diet.
Yep.
And what you're eliminating are the things that either don't naturally occur, or only, getting rid of things that have been manipulated. So like an apple or a banana or a peach or a pear, the fruit that our grandparents ate is nothing like the fruit we eat today. So does that mean the fruit today is absolutely horrific? No, it just means you can't eat it at the volume. If it's 30 times sweeter for a red delicious or one of those Confucius green pumpkin pie apples, whatever they call them now, you know what I mean? Then you have to eat 30% less. I mean, that makes sense. It's kind of like common sense. But you got to drop the seed oils. The seed oils, and this may be blasphemy for some people, but going on a whole food, natural, vegan type of diet is initially going to make you feel better.
Yep.
Because you stop
all the junk.
That's overwhelmingly poor for you, right? That's overwhelmingly causing inflammation in your life. So when you get rid of the less desirable, man-made, high-pressure, chemically washed foods, and you replace them with stuff that grows and hopefully grows in fairly normal soil without a lot of chemicals on it, you're going to do better. But when you want to go long-term, you're going to want to go to, the apex food, right? I think apex food is maybe what we should say. What's at the top of the very best of the best in categorical foods? And the best of the best categorical foods seem to be fatty meats.
Yep.
From a ruminant. So if you eat fatty ruminant meat, you're going to be at the pinnacle, at the best part of the spectrum for your natural biological needs outside of any specific genetic or medical condition. And then as you go down that hierarchy of foods, you're going to get into worse. So you're going to have an inverse proportionality, right? If you eat the better foods, you'll do better. If you eat the worst foods, you're going to do worse. And you get to choose. It's your mouth, it's your body, it's your life. You get to choose whether you're going to eat optimal human, or what they call proper human diet, or something less. And when you make that choice with knowledge, you have no one else to blame but yourself for the type 2 diabetes, heart disease, all these other downstream cascade effects from eating poor food.
Yeah.
So, and in conjunction, what you'll find here on this channel and most people here is we also believe that there is a social component and a spiritual component. It's not all meat all the time, all carnivore, all keto all the time. It's how's your heart health doing? How's your mental health doing? How's your emotional relationships with others going? And if you work on just your diet alone, you'll have a certain amount of success. But if you don't take care of the other areas of your life, eventually one day you're going to run into a hard time. And then maybe you're not going to survive, like we were saying earlier about staying on the wagon, and you're going to maybe go off and then stay off. So it is a holistic, and I don't like to use these buzzwords, a holistic and synergistic approach. So that's why I like to do this channel, so people can come in here, they can chitty chat about what they want. Chuck showed up tonight, said, this is what we're talking about. We got to see his artwork. We got to see the kittens, got to get introduced to Smokey, got to see the son play through, there's all sorts of cool things that happened that had nothing to do with our food choices, but everything to do with building relationships that are predicated and based on interpersonal caring, right? We learned tonight about people who love their horses and people who want to be able to love a horse, right? People, dog people and cat people, allergies, artwork, business ideas. Those to me are the things that are going to enrich our lives and bring us to want to continue to doing what we have been doing. Because what did you say earlier, Chuck? Not doing anything.
Yep.
Idle hands are not.
Sometimes
good.
That's the best thing to do is nothing.
Yeah, it's good to do, but when you have I want to say when you have a purpose for it, so to speak, right? Idle hands aren't good, right? And I'm not saying you're idle, but I don't think any of us want to be idle. Maybe we don't.
There's never nothing. I mean, when I say doing nothing, I have nothing planned.
Right.
Always something always happens, and we always have to go somewhere. We always have to do some shopping. There's always stuff to do, but never have no plan. So, but yeah, that's one thing I was just thinking of when you're saying all that is like one thing or two things that I wish I could have realized a lot sooner is, and I'm sure other people have said this, but when you're first starting out, things could get hectic. You want results right away and you want things to happen right away, but you got to think.
Well,
none of this ever happened, like it didn't take overnight or 2 months or 3 months to gain all this weight and to get into the position I'm in now. It took a long time. It took many years. And even though our bodies are that awesome to where they heal back, it's not going to take that many years to go back, but it is going to take some time. So be patient with yourself, be patient with the process. And it's a journey, not a race. You're going to hit some bumps along the way, but you'll get through it. And tomorrow's always another day, and you just get back up and keep going.
That's right. I like what you said there, Maribel. We are not just about what we eat. And I appreciate you all coming in tonight. I appreciate, Chuck, you taking time out of your night to jump in and be a part of this and to share your life and your passions and your family and your kitty with us. And I just pray that God continues to bless you and continues to protect you and lift you up in all that you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you around next week, because it's Thursday night, so there's no promises that I'll be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, but back Monday, I'll be back again. But I'll probably be out there. If I don't see anybody do anything, I'll throw up a stream. But other than that, you all take care, be safe, and God bless, okay?
Take it easy, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.